Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast. As always, I'm Ryan, joined by my handsome buddy.
I am Earth's mightiest warrior, Derick.
And today we have another doubles match episode with Derick and I, and we're going to be talking about some weeb stuff again. And
Yeah,
if you are in the know about weeb culture, anime, manga, whatever, you are probably very much aware of the tragic passing of one Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball.
Too soon.
R.I.P. Yep. At the age of 68. Kind of just came out of nowhere. He wasn't sick, as far as we know. He just tragically passed and took everyone by surprise. And there was an outpouring of emotion, thanks, and reflection on social media. And well-deserved because, I mean, without him, I honestly don't know what my life would be like if Dragon Ball wasn't a thing. I'm sure you feel the same way.
What shirt would you be wearing right now? What painting would be on your wall?
I'd probably be shirtless right now. So maybe. Well,
no.
I'm not going to go there.
Don't go there.
No, Akira Toriyama was a blessing to this world. And he'll be missed. But he left behind a legacy of muscles and key power-ups and screaming and just, all sorts of memories.
Screaming. You're not wrong.
No. Yeah, I mean, he left behind quite the legacy. As big of a legacy as a manga creator can leave behind. And
yeah, this is we've lost a couple of big name people in the last year. A lot of people that we kind of grew up not with, but influenced by. And I feel like there have been a couple of times in the last year where it's like, wow, this celebrity death is one that I didn't expect to get me, but boy, howdy did it get me. And one of those was Matthew Perry from Friends. And I that one also kind of came out of nowhere. And Akira Toriyama is the second one in that category for me.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I was emotional about Matthew Perry, and I am not nearly as big of a Friends fan as you are. I've only seen a few episodes here and there, a couple dozen episodes. But
could I be a bigger Friends fan?
Probably not.
It's a little breaking off a little piece of that for you.
But yeah, when I first saw that that Toriyama had passed, I felt emotional.
Me too.
I did. I obviously never met the guy. He was very to himself. You didn't hear much about him in the news or anything. He was kind of a recluse from what I've read. He kind of liked his personal space and his alone time. So he wasn't in the news at all, but obviously Dragon Ball is huge, so his name's always attached to that IP. So as big as Dragon Ball is, you're always going to think of Toriyama. So reading the news that he had passed, I got emotional. I don't think I cried. Well, maybe a tear shed. I got watery eyed a little bit thinking back at all the memories.
Got some wet peepers.
Yeah, thinking of all the memories that I have related to Dragon Ball, and just watching it as a kid, watching it now as an adult, and just how much joy it's brought me, and how much, I don't know, just how much fun and how much it sparked my imagination, especially growing up.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So, I know that we've shared this in previous anime episodes, but Dragon Ball and that whole universe is something that you and I kind of both encountered when we were pretty young. I know that in my mind it's almost linked with that Toonami Tom voice.
Yeah,
Tom would be introducing and then now we've got Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I'm all right, it is fucking time, baby.
Yep. It was always right well, it was like we're at the school. Like they timed that shit up. Like they knew like kids are coming home. We're playing everyone's favorite anime right now.
So
yeah,
so what
awesome.
was that like growing up and just having Dragon Ball exist?
Well, yeah, as I mentioned this before, but I never I my first exposure to Dragon Ball was Toonami. I had a friend that introduced this show to me, and then I would catch it on Toonami, but it was like in the middle of like the Buu saga, so very late into the Dragon Ball Z Z arc, the last arc of Dragon Ball Z, and I don't know what the hell's going on. Like all I know is like this spiky haired guy named Goku is super strong and he fights everybody, and Vegeta, who's also spiky haired, is kind of arrogant and an asshole and has a really cool sounding voice, and he has a rivalry with Goku, and then the other cast of characters like Tien and his third eye. You're like, who is this guy? Krillin's funny, bald, and he's got a history with Goku, but like he's not even on the same on the same universe as Goku in regards to strength.
The same game.
Yeah. And then they're fighting Majin Buu, who's this like pink bubblegum rubbery sort of mythical creature with a banana coming out of his head. Like, what is going on here? He's turning people into cookies, eating them.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Like, what the heck is going on in the show? But I just was so captivated by the animation, the fight choreography, the sound effects, the voice acting, and all the music. Dragon Ball music is just like iconic. It's next level. Like I have a lot of the songs on my Spotify. They're just the soundtrack is so damn good, especially the Falconer, Bruce Falconer, I think's his name. He does a lot of the he does a lot of the composing for the original, for like the American Dragon Ball Z soundtrack. But yeah, I mean, obviously I got into the show, so then I went back and had to catch up. I was like, I had to get the backstory on these people. Who is Goku? Who is Vegeta? What's this universe all about? And just fell in love with it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball in general is like the best written anime manga of all time. Like it's got a ton of flaws, plot holes, weird kind of retcons and whatnot.
Power scaling
is absolutely broken sometimes. Early on it was really good. Like I would say up until the Cell Saga, or up until
Cell Saga
the end of the
peak.
Cell Saga.
Yeah.
Cell Saga is amazing. And then just watching that show, and then as I hinted at before, it sparked my imagination. Like when I was young, and I'm trying to remember exactly how old I was, but I was in the single digits, like late single digits. I had action figures. I had a Goku and Vegeta action figure. I had other action figures that weren't Dragon Ball related. For example, I had a Stitch action figure, and he's not an action figure, but it was like one of those McDonald's toys you got from Lilo and Stitch. Stitch. So I'm like, okay,
I'm familiar with his work.
Yeah, Punch Buggle.
Yeah, that's him.
Kamehameha.
Oh, actually, that would make a lot of sense for him to say Kamehameha. Huh?
It would actually, yeah. He's from Hawaii. I was like, my child brain was like, okay, let's make Stitch into the baddest Dragon Ball villain of all time. He's got 4 arms. He can do like 4 different beams at a time. He can
fight Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, he can fight Goku and Vegeta simultaneously. He's got, he can block everything. So I would be like, at home, I would bring him with me everywhere. I remember I would be like at my sister's basketball games when I wasn't playing. I'd have him in the stands with me, and I would be like, I'd be like, how Dragon Ball fights, like they're always like in each other's grills, like punching, like the punches are really fast.
Yeah.
I would be doing that, but just like the 2 action figures, like with like the sound effects.
That is lore accurate, though.
Yeah. And I would do like I would do punching sound effects. I would do the the instant transmission sound, like that kind of.
Yeah, and for me, it was always once you've like turned Super Saiyan, you've got the aura around you, just like
Yeah.
Okay, we can't both do it, dude.
Yeah, I did that for a while. And that was just a lot of fun. I don't remember when I stopped doing that, but it was a couple weeks ago.
He didn't.
I do have a Vegeta action figure back there. Actually, I should go grab him and show him later. But yeah, just like stuff like that. And then I remember one time I was hanging out with my buddy, and I don't know why, I just had this idea in my head for like a script for a Dragon Ball Z movie, and it was like. Because in Dragon Ball, they like to bring people back from the dead a lot. So I was always like, okay, what if Cell and Frieza were in hell and they came back to Earth through some magic, because it's Dragon Ball. The Dragon Balls, someone wished him back to life. And then they fused together.
Oh, God.
Cell and Frieza fused together and fought, and then came to Earth and tried to fight Goku and Vegeta. And this was set probably after the Buu Saga, so between Buu Saga and Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, it makes sense. Did you have a name for this fusion between
Seiza.
Cell and Frieza?
Seiza.
Ceiza.
It was either that or Frel, and Frel did not sound intimidating at all.
Yeah, that sounds like a woodland nymph.
Yeah, exactly. So Seiza was his name, and like we wrote this down. We did like we drew some like not concept art, but we
and then you recruit Boo, and then Boo stabs him in the back, and he goes, A2 Butte.
Damn. Where were you at the time?
Man, I edit this podcast. It's going to hurt when I don't edit that out.
No, you cannot.
It goes out to the public.
No, it's got to stay. It's the name of the episode. I think.
A2 Butte.
Yeah, I think that's actually the name of the episode. But yeah, I had this awesome scripts, played it in my head so many times. Unfortunately, it's in the back burner now. It's only in the recesses of my mind now. It exists in my memories, nowhere else. So,
well, I'm sure we will talk about it, and we'll shop it around to a couple of studios, see if anyone wants to pick it up.
Hey, I'm open for business. And then drawing. Did you ever draw like characters from Dragon Ball?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To this day, the best thing I've ever drawn was Kid Gohan with like the 4-star Dragon Ball on top of his hat.
Yeah.
And I did that when I was like 12 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the pinnacle of my artistic ability.
That's awesome. I did I used to find images on like Google or whatever. I guess it was still Google back then. And I would just I would print it out, and I would just have it next to my piece of paper and just draw it as best I could. And there was like some image of Vegito, but like a different version of Vegito, not Gogeta, but he looked so sick. And I was like so proud of myself. I actually bought like I think at the book fairs back in like middle school and elementary school, there were like Dragon Ball Z tracing books or something. Yeah, and I had a couple of those growing up, and those were so much fun.
Yeah, I think I did too. Like Scholastic Book Fair had them, right?
Yep. Yeah. Got those, and then I got my Whales and Dolphins books because I was obsessed with those back then too. That was a weird crossover of interests back then.
In your pocket is Goku, Vegeta, and a harmonica.
It's just a biography on Keiko the whale from Free Willy. Anyway, but yeah, as a kid, Dragon Ball was so cool. It's still really cool. But it was just a lot of fun growing up. So do you have any fun particular memories? You're gonna make a fool of yourself like me, revealing myself playing with action figures and whatnot?
I don't think particularly, but I do want to go through my experiences there.
Yeah.
I know we touched on it in previous episodes, but I have an older sister. She's about 4 years older than me. And I think she's really the one that got me into like anime and or manga. Just as a function of like her being older, she got to like look at other hobbies before I did. And I remember watching Dragon Ball Z with her and like going back and watching Dragon Ball with her. And I remember, you know, having the VHSs and rewinding them with her. There's a super throwaway line that Goku says to Chi-Chi where he's like, "Oh, you crack me up, babe." And for some reason, we would just always like rewind it and just watch him like deliver that line over and over again. And just like laughing our heads off for no reason.
Is that from OG Dragon Ball?
No, I think it was sometime in Z.
That's so funny. I cannot see Goku saying that.
You crack me up, babe.
Because he never. Well, he shows affection towards Chi-Chi sometimes, but it's few and far in between, especially in Z.
It was in his like goofball mode, so he was probably like eating a bunch and then wanted to like go train or something like that, and she probably was like giving him hell for it, but something like that. And as any other kid that watched Dragon Ball, like I'm sure you did the same thing where, you know, you were playing outside and of course you had to try to power up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I tried it several times.
Yeah,
to no avail.
Like, standing in my backyard in the stands, just
just
like yelling my throat hoarse.
And as a kid, I had heard that yelling and being angry actually made your hair grow. So I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot.
Dragon Ball Z really showcases that perfectly. You know, they keep their hair keeps growing as they get stronger. Yeah, and then there's that one episode where Gohan teaches Videl how to fly.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring this up.
Every person that watched that episode has tried it. You cannot convince me otherwise. If you didn't,
she's got like the ball of light right here, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, I could do that. And I remember sitting outside for like half an hour, just like crisscross applesauce in the grass with my eyes closed in the middle of the summer, just like.
Your parents are like, what the fuck is he doing out there? It's been 3 hours.
It's causing any problems, but it's just weird. He's just sitting there. Menacingly. I like any other kid, tried to power up, tried to shoot ki blasts, learned the moves for the Kamehameha, right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody, right?
I was at a hard time, like I was always trying to like keep my hands together when I would go back for the Kamehameha, but it feels weird. It doesn't feel natural, so I just had them apart.
The key is that it twists.
Oh,
it twists. The lower one is yeah. And then
interesting.
You do the thing, yeah.
Okay.
But
all right. Well, maybe it'll work next time I try it then. That was the missing piece the whole time.
Yeah, 30 minutes after this. But yeah, that was. It was probably my favorite show for a really long time. I think that if you ask, younger Derick what his favorite show was, like 10 times out of 10, he would have said Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, same.
And like I brought up in past episodes, I kind of dropped off the anime train for a while. And when Ryan so graciously helped me back on it, I guess in 2022, 2 years ago, oh boy, I don't like the way that sounds. In my mind, it still all goes back to Dragon Ball. So to say that this has had quite the impact on my life is an understatement. Yeah.
It was everybody's first anime. I mean, in one sense or the other. You meant I have to mention this really quick. You mentioned the VHSs for Dragon Ball Z. Do you remember if you got all of the VHSs for the same arc, it had an image on the side?
Yeah.
Dude, that was so sick. It made me want every single one, and I would buy box sets. I have like 3 or 4 box sets behind me here from different sagas, and they just look. It was such a sick idea. Like, just put it's like a puzzle on the side of the VHS, and when you put it together, it makes one image from the season, like one awesome image.
That's what got me about the manga. The Dragon Ball manga, I think, started with maybe the dragon's tail, and then on the spine of the books, like if you collected them all, it was just all one continuous dragon. I think at the end of it, or maybe in the middle of it, there was like Goku and Bulma on one of the Capsule Corp like cycles at some point. That sounds familiar. I haven't seen these books in 20 years, I guess. Oh, man. I hate saying stuff like that, man. 20 years
makes you feel old. 20 years is a long time.
But here we are.
We've been alive for longer than that, though.
Oh, yep.
Which is crazy. I gotta display these things. Like I have my Dragon Ball collection in the bottom corner of this thing behind me, and I gotta take the VHSs out and put them on my bookshelf or something, because they deserve to be just showcased. They do. They're awesome. All right, let's talk about Dragon Ball's impact on like pop culture and whatnot. Just how present it is in society, and it has been for so long. But I guess first, like, without Dragon Ball, we wouldn't have like most of the animes that we love today.
So many artists, so many people were inspired by Dragon Ball, and in general the works of Akira Toriyama. Like
he had the creator of One
wrote
Piece.
Letters of like the expressing what Toriyama meant to them. Like it's clear that the landscape of media today would be much different had Toriyama not done his thing.
I mean, you had the creator of One Piece have a beautiful post about his relationship with Toriyama, and I think he was the one that said like one of the best days of my life was the first time he called me friend, and it was just it was heartfelt. It was very heartfelt. It was a very emotional post. And then I think the creator of Naruto also reached out and said something. But I mean, without Dragon Ball, we might not have a Naruto. We might not have a One Piece. I mean, or at least as popular as they are today. It was really the first anime that made it over to Western culture that blew up and showed that this medium can be popular. It's not just for nerds or the stereotypes that were associated with people that watched anime back in the day. Like, no, it can be cool. And today, like, I wear this shirt. Like, if this was 15 years ago, I probably wouldn't be wearing this shirt out in public. But now I wear it all the fucking time. Like, I love it. It fits me perfectly, but I also just like the colors and everything. And I'm proud to rep any anime apparel out in the street now, because I think anime it's really changed over the years. Like people's outlook on it, the way people think about it. Like when I was dating, I had it on my dating profile, like, I love anime. Like, if you like anime, then,
I love Goku.
Yeah,
I love Goku and his big muscles. So
I love his big muscles. If do you like muscles?
Do you like muscles?
Do you like muscles? Yeah, I have a Vegeta body pillow. No, I'm kidding.
Are you?
It's in my Amazon cart. No. But yeah, just the way people view anime these days, like, it's not shameful to like anime. It's cool. It's accepted. Like, it's just something you can kind of proudly represent, and it's got a ton of people talking about it on YouTube and social media. Like, it's huge now. It's so huge in culture. Like, there's restaurants out there that are dedicated to just anime. Like, they're mostly ramen shops and Japanese restaurants, but like their whole vibe, their whole decor is anime, and like that's how they bring people into the doors. So it's crazy how much it's changed even over the last I'd say 10 to 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, big agree. I through high school and over the summers in college, I worked on the boardwalk at a beach town, and I'd take my lunch break or my dinner break whenever I was working, and just kind of walk down the boardwalk. And if you're not really familiar with what boardwalk shops have, a lot of them are probably maybe licensed, most likely unlicensed merchandise for whatever thing is popular at the time. And I think back then, excuse me, it would have been like Minecraft and Pokemon. Like I remember seeing a lot of that towards the end of my stay there. But that there was never really anything other than that back then. But now it's like an explosion of good animes that a lot of people know, right? Like back then, you ask my grandma, you hold up a picture of Pikachu, she's like, yeah, that's Pikachu. But like now you could probably hold up a picture of Goku and people will be like, yeah, that's Goku.
Yeah,
I know this man.
Yeah, and my dad would know so Goku different. Which is saying something.
Well, let's put that to the test. Call him now.
Dad, do you know well, I have to send him a picture and be like, do you know this man? Name this person, please.
Charles. You're welcome.
Kakarot. What?
How did he know?
How'd you pull that out?
Yeah, that's
yeah, and just and it's just spawned like all the video games that have come out, like all the Dragon Ball video games. There's been all the Budokais 1, 2, 3, Tenkaichi 1, 2, 3, Sparking 0, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Kakarot. Like there's been so many, and there's been other like Jump Force. I know that was kind of a failure in regards to games, but I mean, it was an anime game, but Goku was was maybe the character that was advertised the most. And it was supposed to be like some of the greatest protagonists in anime history fighting, and he was the top. Like he was the guy that got the most marketing. But playing those games growing up, like how immensely popular they were, and how popular even today, like Fighter Z still is. Like there's still esports for Fighter Z, I'm pretty sure. And then the new game coming out, like there's a lot of hype for that. I think that is Sparking 0 actually, I think. But there's a new Dragon Ball game coming out. It's got a ton of hype right now.
And we're both going to play it against and or with each other.
Yeah. I can't wait to play that. And I hope it comes out this year. They're still undetermined on a release date, but I'm hoping by fall or holiday 2024 we're playing that, but we will see. And then I'm just hoping that, and then you have DAIMA coming out, and this is going to be really special anime, I think, because obviously with the tragic passing of Toriyama, it's been heavily advertised that he had a lot to say in this anime. He usually didn't do too much with the Dragon Ball Z anime. He was, and Super, like he created the universe, so he would have a little bit of input, but he was more hands off from what I understand in the production process of the anime. But in this one, he's got a lot to say. Like it's his original character designs. I think he was a producer on it. Like he had a lot to say on how the story went, and it'll just be nice to see his vision. And I think it's nice. That's kind of full circle that it's going to be going back to Kid Goku.
Yeah.
It's kind of like his journey's come full circle. So I'm hoping that, I know people were not pleased or overall happy with the reveal of that show because they wanted a continuation of Super's manga, which looks awesome, and I hope it gets adapted one day because it's sick. But this show, I think people just got to give it a chance, and I think most people now with Toriyama passing are like, okay, let's give this a shot. It was his vision. Let's see what he went out with. So I'm really excited for that anime, and again, that's another one. Not sure if it's coming out this year or next year. It's not confirmed if it's definitely coming out this year or not yet.
So you said that Toriyama had a lot of say in the making of it, and story, all that jazz. How much of it are we getting? Like, I understand that we're going to get a season or whatever, but like, was he only involved in that season, or does he know? Did he like lay down kind of where he wants it to go? And basically, what I'm getting at is, are we going to see a lot of the Toriyama go away as more of it is released?
No, I mean, I'm sure it was. I'm sure he was mainly just involved in this one season, and then anything that comes after it, it'll still be like the art style and everything. Like they'll adapt anything he pitched. Any of his ideas will be transferred over to season 2. They'll just do their best to recreate it. It depends if season 1 is popular or not. We don't know how it's going to perform. We don't know if it's going to be any good. I'm sure it'll be good in this. Well, I'm sure it'll be entertaining. We'll see if it reaches the highs that Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super did. I'm skeptical just based off of the general synopsis of the show, or just like, I just feel like the ceiling, the general synopsis. I feel like the ceiling for the show is lower than other ones, and that's mainly just because, not because everyone's children, but because of when it takes place. You
not just because everyone's children,
not just because every character in the show becomes a kid again. But it takes place between like the Buu saga and Super, so like there's no, I don't know. What's like, none of those characters are dying or anything. Like everyone's making it out a-okay one way or the other, but the journey will still be fun, hopefully, and the animation looks good. So I'm psyched for that, and I'm curious to see how good the fights look. I know Dragon Ball is not all about fights, but that's what most people think about when they think about Dragon Ball, or the fights, the action scenes. But I'm okay with it being a more like adventure style, not slice of life, but like a little more low key, kind of less intense story. But I would also like to see some awesome spectacle fights, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what a lot of people tune in to see.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So I think that is a good segue into some of our favorite moments from Dragon Ball. And this can be Dragon Ball original, this can be Dragon Ball Z, this can be Super, any of the movies, anything's on the table. I brainstormed a few, and there's a ton that I'm missing.
Yeah, let's just talk about them.
But yeah, I mean, I could start with one that I always think about, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. But I don't know if you remember Vegeta's final flash against Perfect Cell.
Tell me more.
Oh man. So this takes place, Vegeta gets out of the hyperbolic time chamber. He learns how to ascend, or become an ascended Super Saiyan. Not quite Super Saiyan 2. He's somewhere in the middle. He's like Super Saiyan 1.5, basically. He takes on Cell in his second form. He had just absorbed Android 17. And, he's in his second form. He's kicking the shit out of everybody. Tien basically
Tien, dude.
Yeah, Tien actually saved the day. Tien has a couple moments like this in the show where like he's facing somebody that's like leagues, heads and shoulders above him in regards to power. He's able to like always delay them or something. Like he did his tri-beam into Cell.
Yeah.
And Cell's just trying to like leave. And he can't teleport or anything. He doesn't have instant transmission yet. But he just keeps hitting him with the tri-beam, and Tien's like giving it, like he's literally, his life is being sucked out, like sucked from him. Like he's about to die because he's exerting so much energy. Anyway, Vegeta, this has nothing to do with that, but Vegeta shows up. He's able to delay Cell enough. Vegeta is able to show up, and then and he shows
on business.
Yeah, and then he shows Cell his ascended Saiyan form and kicks his fucking ass. Vegeta being the proud Saiyan warrior he is, though, Cell's like, "Oh, you would never beat me in my perfect form if only you let me become perfect." That's kind of actually a good impression of Cell's second form, I think. And Vegeta's like, "Okay, well, yeah, go find Android 18 and absorb her, so I can fight you at your full power and humiliate you and show you just how strong I am." He does, and then Cell becomes perfect.
Nice.
And Vegeta quickly realizes that he is completely outclassed. So, in a last-ditch effort, he puts everything he has into one attack. The final flash, which, god damn it, this move does not get used enough by Vegeta in the show. He only uses it a handful of times, but this is by far the best time. It's like this build-up. He floats in the air, he puts his arms out, and then just starts screaming. And it's like a 5-minute build-up scene where he's just screaming. Electricity is just like pouring out of him. It's like it's going to the ground and like destroying rocks and shit. And Cell's just like looking at him. The wind's blowing the wind's blowing Cell, and he's just like watching. Yeah, Cell's getting blown by the wind, but it's just, everything around him is just getting blown around and destroyed, but he's just sitting there watching, just like curious as to what's going to happen. And then Vegeta just like eventually just puts his hands together in front of him, and there's a little ball of ki that's like coming in and out. It's like, I don't know, it just, and the sound effect for it was so sick. Like, you can tell he's like really putting his all into this, but he's like struggling with the amount of power that he is about to exert, unleash. And then anyway, before he shoots it, he challenges Cell, like, if you really want to test your strength, stay right where you are.
Do not move.
Yeah, and Cell obliges, and he releases his attack, and it is so fucking cool. The music is incredible. I gotta send you the scene after we're done recording. And Cell, as it's about to hit Cell, the look on Cell's face is like, "Holy shit! Wait, I gotta get out of the way.
Maybe move a little.
I gotta move a little bit." So the dust clears. Of course, Cell's not dead, but Vegeta basically destroyed half his body.
Yeah, I remember.
Like his arms off, like half his, like part of his legs off, and so you can tell Cell's shocked. But of course, he's got Piccolo's cells, so he regenerates, and then Vegeta's fucked. But anyway, that was one of Vegeta's best moments in the show, and I always think about that one whenever I think of Vegeta. It's just so sick.
Yeah, and whenever I think of Vegeta, I will not have as in-depth explanations as you do. One, because I haven't seen like a full, or I haven't seen 2 consecutive episodes of Dragon Ball in a long time. I don't remember the last time I saw 2 consecutive episodes of Dragon Ball, but
it's okay.
Whenever I think of Vegeta, I think of Goku versus Vegeta and all their, different fights. But for the most part, I think of that very first one where Goku whips out the Kaio-Ken against him and just like starts trouncing him.
Yeah.
For some reason, that is like something in my mind that like will always be there.
Yeah, Kaio-Ken was such a cool technique. I mean, it just like enhanced his power and speed. And you got the iconic poses in the beginning where Goku's like this, and Vegeta's like this, and that. That's not exactly what they're doing, but those iconic poses. Then obviously the beam struggle at the end, which right there, that's a recreation of it, Starry Night version. Yeah, it's such a good moment. I guess sticking with
when he starts going through like all the different multipliers of it.
Yeah,
I'm like, God damn.
Well, he ends that fight with ×4, I think. Kaio-Ken ×4 to because just to overpower Vegeta's Gallic gun.
It's basically ripping his body apart. Like, trying to do this all and pushing the Kaio-Ken, but
King Kai's like, "Don't do it, Goku! Don't do it, Goku!" You know the voice actor that Sean Shamel, or however you say his name, is also King Kai.
Oh, really?
He does the voices for King Kai and Goku and a couple other characters.
I thought I had a King Kai impression, but
Goku,
every impression just has to be a flash in the pan. Goku.
That's actually really good.
Yeah,
I was thinking, like, you gotta do something with your cheeks to, like,
you got to have no run up
emulate
to
that.
it. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
And then never do it again.
Sticking with the Goku Vegeta fights, I have to mention the Super Saiyan 2 fight, which one of the most hyped fights in the show. Leading up to it, man.
Super Saiyan 2 in general is like some of the most hype moments of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
If anyone is in Super Saiyan 2, I'm like, shit's about to go down.
It's just such a cool transformation. I mean, the hair changes a little bit, it grows a little bit. Goku's bangs are like wider. And then, but the electricity, that's what adds to it. It's like, oh, there's electricity around
Super
him.
Saiyan 2,
Yeah.
dude, with the electricity, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, but the that Goku Vegeta fight is so good. It went on for a couple episodes too. Actually, I bought the box set. I have that box set just for that fight. And the fight's only like one VHS or two, maybe 1.5 VHS is worth, but it was worth it. Like, that fight is so hyped. And yeah, it's just the choreography also is excellent in that one. And I can't talk about that without going back before that fight. There's another moment here, and it's another Vegeta moment. Not a great Vegeta moment in regards to like his character, but just a really good scene with good writing and good voice acting. And that is the iconic scene when Majin Vegeta, who has just been mind controlled by Babidi, they get teleported back to the World Tournament, and Vegeta does the unthinkable. And at this point, Vegeta is kind of, he's become a good guy, but he still has that little bit inside of him, that little bit of evil that used to exist in him.
That bad boy energy.
Yeah, that bad boy energy. He shoots this savage, shoots a ki blast into the crowd at the World Tournament. Just innocent bystanders, and kills them. Kills hundreds of people. And poor Bulma is in the crowd watching, like, horrified, like, what the fuck?
Not where the ki blast is.
No. Luckily, no. Horrified, like, what her husband just did. Like, he's a good guy now. We have a son together. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then Goku, man, Goku handles this situation so great. Like, it's such a badass scene. The Kai, is it Supreme Kai? Maybe Supreme Kai. I think it's a Supreme Kai.
Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah.
He's trying to keep Goku and Vegeta from fighting because their energy, their damage that they sustain gets transported to Majin Buu to help wake him up. From his egg. So Supreme Kai stands in front of Goku like, I will not let you fight him. Goku raises his hand and then puts, like, he's like, I will blast. He didn't say this, but he's like, he has this ki blast that's forming in his hand, like, in front of Supreme Kai. Like, he will kill Supreme Kai if it means that he gets to fight Vegeta. And the scene is just so good. Like, the voice acting, the music, just it was one of the more, like, serious and, like, tense moments in the show. Yeah, I had to talk about that moment because that came right before the Super Saiyan 2 fight. So,
God damn.
You got another moment?
Yeah, this is something I actually brought up with you 2 days ago when I saw you, and this comes with a bit of context. So, I think within the last, like, 6 months, as of the recording of this episode, there was a big trend on TikTok of, like, women asking their significant others, like, hey, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And wholeheartedly, genuinely, a lot of these dudes were like, maybe like once a day at least. And, like, everyone is flabbergasted and dumbfounded how sincerely true that is. And for me, that the Roman Empire is the scene from episode 1. It would have been, because that's what we were watching.
Oh,
where
yeah.
where Raditz comes to Earth, crashes down in a pod, and there's a farmer with a shotgun that like drives up to the crater, and Raditz comes out and he hits him with his scouter, and this farmer's like power level 5 or something like that. And obviously the farmer beefs it. But again, this is one of those like core things in my brain that I don't think will ever leave. It's just Raditz versus that farmer.
The farmer.
And like the farmer shoots him with the bullet and he catches the bullet or whatever. He just like flicks it back and just destroys this farmer that was power level 5 on his scouter.
Yeah. You can't
like,
really
I'm worried that if that memory ever leaves, like there's some other shit stacked up on top of that that's gonna go too.
No. That'll never leave your head. That's there forever. You'll be on your deathbed being like, that farmer, man, level 5, power level 5.
I could beat him.
Raditz flicked a bullet, killed him. That is the most random, and I love
thing,
it.
But I think about it all the time.
I love it. All right, I'll name an underrated moment that I actually just remembered happened a couple days ago. I was watching a video. This guy was basically talking about how Majin Buu is like one of the most savage villains in all anime.
Yeah.
He talks about this scene. I don't know if you remember this, but when Super Buu, when Buu absorbs Fat Buu, and becomes Super Buu, and then goes to the tower to the lookout, and everyone's there, and basically Piccolo's stalling time for Goten and Trunks to get the fusion dance down.
Right, yeah.
In the hyperbolic time chamber. And Piccolo like puts this hourglass in front of Buu, like this giant hourglass, and was like, you have to wait. If you wait 1 hour, they'll be ready to fight you. And Majin Buu is looking at it, and the sand is like slowly falling through the hourglass to the bottom. And he's like so impatient. Then Chi-Chi goes up to him. Chi-Chi walks up. Chi-Chi has the biggest balls of anyone in the show. She walks up to Majin Buu, slaps him on the head, and is like basically like scolding him like a mom would. Like, what are you doing? Like, how could you do this? Are you ashamed of your actions, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm so disappointed. And Boo looks at her and is like, do you like eggs? And then transforms her into an egg with his banana, with his banana beat, with his banana head thing, with his antenna, whatever he calls it. And then he steps on it. And then Goten watches this happen. Goten watches his mom get transformed into an egg and then crushed. And then Majin Buu just sits back down and starts looking at the hourglass again. Like, what a savage moment.
That's unnecessary, man. Like, why?
It doesn't get more savage than that. I just thought that was a funny moment. It's funny it's goofy because it was the way that it happened, but it's also like it's pretty fucking terrifying, honestly.
And speaking of the lookout, this is something again. I'm just remembering things as they come to me.
Yeah,
this is something that I think about a lot, but I'm so fuzzy on the details. But it's when Goku climbed up Korin Tower.
Oh yeah, that was Dragon Ball.
In Dragon Ball, yeah. And I in my mind, I was going to say I remember it so clearly, but I absolutely do not. But
I don't either, but I do remember that. I do remember it happening. Like, he was still a kid back then.
Oh yeah,
the upper body strength for that, crazy.
Well, he's so dang strong.
He is pretty strong. I mean, Kid Goku could have flicked us in the head and killed us, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That kid was lifting cars up with one hand back then. Crazy. Let's see. What else do I have here? I mean, there's some big ones that we can hit at the end.
I think now's the time to hit him, my dude.
One more. I got one more before we do that. The first time we get introduced to Trunks.
I was going to bring this one up too.
Okay. What a
Holy
badass moment, and what a badass character. Trunks
fucking
is
fresh off of the Frieza saga. You
yeah,
don't know what's going on with Goku, really. There's a
yeah,
bunch of people on Earth. Everyone's still like a, normal ass fighter. People have powers, but like, Goku's the man. But where is the man? We don't know. But he crash lands, and you take it from here.
yeah. No, well, so this all happens before Goku arrives on Earth, back on Earth. So, uh, Frieza miraculously survives the fight between him and Goku, even though the planet explodes and he's caught in the explosion, and he got cut in half,
He's fine.
and he got blasted by Goku. So he's still alive somehow. So Mecha Frieza, he's like 20% organic and 80% cyborg. He comes to Earth with his dad, King Cold.
Hell yeah.
The names in Dragon Ball are so goofy. But anyway, this mysterious Saiyan, or you don't even have a Saiyan, you just know he's just a teenager. He's like just a 16 or 17 in the show.
Streetwear teenager.
Yeah, his design is sick. He's got a sword. Like, who the hell is this guy?
Part.
He confronts Frieza. He seemingly knows that Frieza's going to arrive at this time on this day, and he goes Super Saiyan. And at this point, you're just everyone like mind blowing when that first happened, because Goku was the legendary Super Saiyan. Like, he was the first Super Saiyan. And
who is this kid?
Yeah, and now we have this other guy. Like, who the hell is this person? He goes Super Saiyan, and he wipes the floor with Frieza. Like, he's, as a Super Saiyan, like, he's stronger than Goku. Like, it's seemingly stronger than Goku, even when Goku fought Frieza a few episodes prior. I know there's been some time passing between then, but just the way he destroys Frieza, just with his sword, slicing him up. He slices him to bits, and then he blasts him. I forget what that move's called in the games, but it's so cool.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah,
dude, Trunks was so cool.
Yeah, just he was cocky, but a kid. Like, when he meets Goku after that, you can tell like he's like a little not shy, but a little bashful maybe, and he's a little like starstruck. Like, I've heard a lot about you. Like, you like. And then he challenges Goku to like a little test of strength, and he whips out the sword, and Goku's blocking it with his index finger. Like, that's just insane.
So fucking
like, that's a
good.
Super Saiyan swinging that sword. It's not like fucking Krillin swinging the sword. It's a Super Saiyan, and he's blocking it with
also
one finger.
Another thing that I think of all the time, where he swings a sword and stops like right in front of Goku.
Yeah,
like, why didn't you move? He's like, I sense no malice. And
yeah,
like, that's so cool.
Yeah. That was such a cool scene. That was when Dragon Ball was writing. Like, Dragon Ball Z's writing was peak during this time, and then it got better through the Cell Saga, and then whatever happened after that. But let's get into some of the like big moments that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Do you have one that you want to name off the top of your head?
Go for it, man.
All right. Well, obviously we got to talk about Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation. One of the most iconic transformations in all anime. It's a shame because I feel like at this point, Super Saiyan this is so weak, but it's so iconic. Like, anyone going Super Saiyan is like, okay, yeah, I love this. I love this transformation.
Yeah,
the yellow hair, the green eyes, it's sick. And then just the moment that happened with Krillin, unfortunately, getting killed by Frieza and pushing Goku over the edge, and just his demeanor, how it changed. Like, he became, not that he wasn't serious before, like fighting Frieza, but you can tell like shit was hitting the fan. Like, this was it. It's now or never. Like, stakes were really high.
Big boy pants time.
Yeah. That one. Another transformation, you have Gohan going Super Saiyan 2.
Fuck, it's so
against
good,
Cell, which arguably is probably not as iconic as Super Saiyan Goku, but it's up there. It's a sick scene. The music, again, the heartstrings with 16 getting killed in front of Gohan, kind of pushing him over the edge.
Dude, just everything with Gohan and Cell, like from that point on, everything is just great.
And the build up to that too, because like there was always like flashes of Gohan being so strong. Like
Mhm.
his latent potential was just always there, even against Raditz when he burst out of the spaceship and headbutted him. Like he always had this potential that was there, and he finally realized it. And Goku put his trust in him, and it paid off. And yeah, that was such a satisfying fight and transformation. And Gohan is so fucking cool in that arc.
Yeah, and then he
they
becomes
nerfed him.
Saiyaman.
Yeah. Then they nerfed him to the ground, but he's having
No, that was when he was the coolest.
True. Yeah.
So dumb.
I kind of like Saiyaman though. I kind of like him. Not gonna lie. Anyway, they've at least now currently in the Super manga, Gohan has had a resurgence and he's cool again. So
that's fucking good. Love Gohan.
It just took a while. Yeah, Gohan's sick. Let's see. Sticking with the Gohan Cell thing. Gohan and Goku's father-son Kamehameha to defeat Cell.
Peak.
Yeah.
It is my favorite moment in all of Dragon Ball.
I can't really argue with that there. It's definitely up. It's in the top 3 for sure for me.
Yeah, for me it's that, and then a close second is when Goku was talking to Chi-Chi and he goes, you crack me up, babe.
And then the farmer.
Yeah, those are those are top 3. Non-negotiable.
Yeah. But yeah, that scene is just it's phenomenal. The stakes Cell is overpowering Gohan because Gohan basically is handicapped with one arm right now because he took a shot for Vegeta.
And he is in fact still a child.
Yeah. His father just sacrificed himself a few moments earlier. So there's a lot of emotion going through his head right now, and he's basically it's up to him to save the world, or else Cell will destroy the universe. So with a little help from Goku, talks to him from the other world with the help of King Kai. He musters up the strength and is able to take down Cell, and it was just such a thrilling finish to that arc.
So good, man.
It's probably
Cell
the one
saga.
Might be the best death, best end to a fight in anime history. The best conclusion, possibly. It's up. It's up there. It's on the Mount
Rushmore. Makes me so happy just thinking about it.
Yeah. I got to go back and watch that fight after this. I think that's the move. Let's see. What else do I have on here? Frieza versus Goku in general. I know we talked about Goku and Super Saiyan, but that fight is just an iconic fight. It's one of the longest fights in anime history. It's went on for like 15 episodes. Also the longest 5 minutes of all time when Frieza is planning to destroy Namek, and he's like, we have 5 minutes until this planet blows up. 10 episodes later,
it's a billion episodes later.
Yeah. I always thought that was funny. Dragon Ball Z always had a weird concept of time. Do I have anything else on here that are super iconic? I mean, you obviously have the ending of the Buu saga of Majin Buu with Goku's Spirit Bomb getting the energy from everyone on Earth to destroy Kid Buu. That's also a great ending to a villain.
Spirit Bomb.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Anytime the Spirit Bomb is used, it either is an utter failure or it works. That's really it. And do I have anything else on here? I mean, there's plenty more.
Yeah, there's plenty more. We do got to cut it at some point, huh? we could be talking forever on this.
Yeah.
I just want to name 2 more things.
Go ahead.
Kind of mixing the last 2 topics. 2 of my favorite moments experiencing Dragon Ball were watching the first Bardock movie, Bardock Father of Goku, the 1990 joint.
Yeah.
And Broly, the first Broly movie.
Man, I love that movie.
I remember I was 8 years old and I was in the Philippines for the second time. And me and my cousin were just nuts about Dragon Ball. I remember we went to the shoe mart and we bought a couple of Zoids figurines to put together. And we also bought a couple of oh shoot, what were they called? They weren't DVDs, VCDs. We bought some
Ooh, what the
VCDs
heck
of
is that?
Dragon Ball. It's
Never heard of
exactly
that.
what it sounds like.
Okay. I've never heard of a
And
VCD.
it was the Bardock movie and the Broly movie. And I just remember putting Zoids together with my cousin. Some Doraemon was on actually, that was when I first saw Slam Dunk. Also,
Oh, really?
yeah. And then watching those two movies, it's one of my favorite memories from that time that I went to the Philippines, and it's built around Dragon Ball.
It's awesome. Wait, was that 2 in 1? Or was that
yeah,
two?
yeah. Just the Bardock movie and the Broly movie. Just seeing both of those.
Yeah,
it was good.
Those movies are
I guess it would have been in Japanese at that point, I guess. But
I think I had the Bardock movie, but it was a recorded VHS of like the Toonami special, so it had the commercials and everything in it.
now at Burger King,
yeah, basically
chicken fries.
Man, that movie, the Future Trunks one.
Oh yeah,
that movie is so good. And then I saw the latest 2 Dragon Ball movies in theaters. You and I went and saw the Broly Super one in the theaters, right? You were there with us, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. Man, that movie's so fucking good. We watched it together recently, not too long ago.
Correct.
Enhanced, and it was quite the experience. That movie is that's going to age so well. It's peak.
It's so good.
The newest one that came out 2 years ago, I saw in the theater by myself. It was me and like one other dude, and I enjoyed it. I really did. So
just vibing in the theater together.
Yeah. Listen, anything new that comes from Dragon Ball, I'm there. I don't care what it is. I'm there. And I'll be watching this series until I'll hopefully I get to show my future kids. I'll show my nephew and niece when they get a little older and continue I got to keep the tradition going. I got to show the next generation of kids how great this show is and how impactful it was. And
absolutely. Yeah. And on my end, I gotta not fall off the anime fan bandwagon here, because this is. I think it's clear that for both of us, Dragon Ball is something very important to us. Important to kind of who we are, because it's kind of what we grew up on. And especially with the untimely passing of Akira Toriyama, this is kind of forced us to think about what all of this means to us, which obviously is very good. Wow, man!
I got nothing. I got nothing bad to
behind
say.
The curtain here. I am unwell today and a little bit scatterbrained. It is rough trying to put these sentences together,
hey,
but
it's all good. We got through it.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to us geek out about Dragon Ball for an episode. And Toriyama, huge impact on anime, on manga, on pop culture in general, and culture in general. He'll be sorely missed.
We give a salute to Toriyama. He'll be missed.
My energy.
Yeah. Oh, that was a thing. People did that in like Mexico or something. There were like a group of people out, like so cute. And then in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, they had like a full server of characters. We're all doing the Spirit Bomb energy giving pose. Yeah, that shit brought a tear to my eye. I'm not gonna lie. So before I start crying,
erase that tear for you. Yeah. If you want to give us your energy, you can find us on Instagram at 5 o'clock sweats. On X, we are at 5 o'clock sweats. You can find us in video form on YouTube and in audio form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get those ding dang things. Anything else you want to say?
Nope. I'm good. I'm going to go watch some Dragon Ball.
All right.
Should we do a Kamehameha, a synced Kamehameha to send it off?
Oh shit! Yeah, that would go hard as hell.
I think that's sick. I might stand up for this.
Oh God, I'm not in the clothes to stand up for this one, so I'll just back
again?
up.
You're not wearing pants again?
I have pants on.
Okay.
They just.
All right. And as always,
May ha May Man, it is too late for me to be doing full volume. Oh man.
I think
There
everybody
it
felt
is.
the power.
No other outro. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that one sentence fucking went off the rails for me. I was like, yeah, Dragon Ball, it's good. The thing is how we do it. Yeah.
I was struggling a couple trying to recall some of the scenes I was talking about, but
you did good, man.
Thank you.